Yo, yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the AFIB show live. It's Sunday night. Got some music to start off the week. Mondays sometimes suck, but Sunday doesn't have to. So welcome to the AFIB show. I see there's some people waiting out in the audience. Oh, there's Gail checking in. Hey, Gail. Looking forward to this. Yeah, everyone wants to know my secret sauce. What's in my supplements? What am I taking? Let me just end the music here. I mean, my supplements are, first of all, forever changing. So a lot of my supplements are situational. And I actually have a lot to go through tonight. So what I thought we'd do is, I know people are going to want a list after, so as I read them off, I thought I would just add them to this list and, put the supplement, why I use it, and how I think it scores out of 10. And I think this score is going to be based on, bang for the buck. So is it worth the money? And I would say anything 7 out of 10 is worth the money. After that, it's kind of situational or whatnot. So let's say 7 out of 10 is worth the money. And a lot of my supplements are sort of goal oriented, right? Like a lot of my supplements aren't for general health, and a lot of them aren't for AFIB. So anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. Give a shout out if you're out there. I see Gail. I see a couple other people in chat. So don't be shy. Happy to interact with you during this live stream. So I'm going to bring up the sheet. So I'm going to record the supplements here as I go. Like I said, we'll score it out of 10. And I put a link down in the description of the published version, which I'll just leave up permanently. And you can just check back after. So don't feel like you have to take notes during the live stream. Okay, we're just going to write it down. So I hope you all had a better week this week. I'll be honest with you. I had a really difficult couple of days. You remember I put up that video about, my heart rate's so low and it's going to go off flecainide. And then I realized actually I can't go off the flecainide right now, and I can't ask my doctor to do that because I'm actually doing some international travel soon. And if they mess with your meds, then you can't get the health insurance. So I went off the flecainide for one day and I went back on the flecainide. And I don't know what it did, but my anxiety just went through the roof since Friday morning until today when I went for a 4.5 mile run. My anxiety just went through the roof. And I think the run is what finally calmed it down. Like Friday was terrible. Plus my internet went out, so I couldn't work from home. It was a really stressful day. I really needed to work and I couldn't. The internet was out all over, even my cell phone. And so my anxiety was through the roof. And I'm not one of these guys, that get anxious and they just get quiet and miserable and passive aggressive. No, I'm the opposite, man. Like I'm a bear. I mean, I'm named correctly. I'm a friggin' caveman when my anxiety's I'm overtly, let's say, aggressive. I get, easily pissed off, and I will frickin' tell you so. So, I mean, it's a part of me I don't actually like, and I never go too far to where I've physically hit someone or anything, but I do sometimes say stuff I regret, and as a part of my life I've worked to control. So I was glad I went for that run today, and it put me back in the right place, and I think I evened out on the flecainide again. And so you don't want to mess with your medication willy-nilly. You just want to it's something you always got to be cautious about. And I looked up, and their anxiety is a side effect of flecainide. It's considered a rare side effect, but I think looking back, it made me look back, and I realized that since I've been on flecainide, my anxiety's been worse. And I thought came with the AFib, but I think it came with the flecainide. So it'll be something to talk to my cardiologist about. Anyway, so that's the case there. And so I thought, you know what, Corey was in, and I'm kind of hoping he shows up in the live stream tonight, but he was in the comments. I haven't seen him for a bit, but he was asking about, what vitamins I take. And I thought, you know what, I should just do a whole video about all my supplements. And I was like, well, you know what, actually, that just makes a great, that's a great live stream, because that would literally fill 40 minutes. If I just took what I had in my cupboards and what I used and just sat down and talked about it, that's a whole show right there. So we're going to get on with that. Gail's asking, do I ever talk with my GP about this stuff? I do, and he's a really sympathetic. He's a really nice man. He's got to be nearly retired at this point. He's an older man. He's a very nice man. He'll listen, but he doesn't have any advice, and really he'll just prescribe me something for anxiety, and I don't want to be on anything like that. So, I talk to you guys. I have a YouTube channel because I actually want to talk to other people who understand, right? Like if we go back to, and I talked about, when I talk to another AFibber, I feel like they truly see me, and I hope they feel like I truly see them. We understand each other. So for me, you're all my therapy. This show is my therapy. The content I put out and the comments I get and the comments I answer, that's my therapy. And that's really helped me. So I thank you all for that. I'm really grateful for all of you. So let's start getting into it, because we're going to be here all night if I don't start on my supplements. And the first one I'm going to bring up is not actually a supplement, but it's I just have this probably 1 or 2 a day is my G0. And really, this just keeps me from drinking pop and sweetened beverages, because it just hits a spot. But I generally have one when I work out. And I feel like I've had a problem in the past where I've had too much potassium. So I don't supplement with potassium. But during a workout, I look at this G0, and it has what I feel for my workouts, 270 milligrams of sodium and 75 milligrams, which is barely any potassium, but I feel like that's probably just the right amount, and it tastes good. And so I'll have one after my workout. I generally don't drink any liquid before my workout or during my workout. Even if I do an hour and a half run on a 10K run, for example, I don't drink until I'm done. I just don't do it. It's just the way I am. So, but afterwards I'll chug one of these every time, because when I stop, then the thirst comes. So I'll chug one of those. So that's the closest I get to supplementing with potassium other than real food, because I've had a problem with potassium, which is going to bring me to this other thing. So I've divided my supplements into 3 camps. The stuff that I rarely use, and I use only for very specific things. The stuff I use now and then the stuff I use daily. So I'm going to start with the rare stuff first. So I actually have this. It's a medication / supplement, because you need a prescription. But it's called polystyrene sulfonate, and I have to keep this in the house. I haven't needed it in 2 years, but in case my potassium blood tests come back high, then I take a dose of this, and it slowly lowers your potassium. I don't know, it goes down in your intestines, and it's some sort of combination of plastic and salt. It's not something you want to eat every day, but it just slowly brings your potassium back down to normal levels. So it's sort of, I had to buy it once, and I've had to use it on 2 occasions. I haven't needed it at least 2 years, but I keep it around. It doesn't expire for quite some time. I mean, maybe it's good. It's partly plastic. So that's something. I'm not putting it on the supplement list, because that's a very special occasion. So the next one I'm going to go to that is not going on the supplement list is, I don't know if you call it a supplement or a food substitute, but some people consider it a nutritive because it's good for your teeth. But it just came under negative light, and that's erythritol. And the only time I ever use erythritol is I'll put a little pinch in my rooibos tea. But given the study that just come out, I mean, I was bouncing around in some Facebook exchanges with Dr. Norm Robillard, who has a fast track diet I talked about in the poop video. He's take a quick review of the study. He's going to do a deep dive, and I'll share his deep dive when he does it. He's actually ordered the study and paid for it, so really look forward to his findings there. But he thinks it's prudent just to give this stuff up, and so that's what I'll be doing, which is too bad because it really filled a good niche for the low carb people, erythritol. So, and it just makes me question all the other sugar alcohols. What don't we know? Because someone really went out of their way to test this stuff and found out that, when I first looked at the study, it seemed like just endogenous levels because you do produce erythritol in the body. But it turns out that no, if you're taking some, you're increasing your risk of coronary infarction or heart attack. So this, after the show, will be going in the garbage. And I won't be putting it on the list. So let's get into the stuff I'm going to put on the list. So speaking of sugar substitutes, well, I have an actual sugar. And I tried this stuff out, D-ribose. So D-ribose is something I tried because I heard people telling me it helped them with their heart palpitations. D-ribose converts readily and helps you convert in ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and that is like the energy currency of the body. So anyone who's even been a personal trainer, you have to study chapters on ATP and the energy systems, and so D-ribose is a big driver of that, and it's thought that it being in the blood gives direct access to the heart tissue, cardiac tissue, to be able to produce ATP easier, and if your heart has more energy available, it's going to work better. So D-ribose has some studies showing it's helpful for cardiac tissue. Not aware of anywhere it's negative. However, it didn't seem to help me at all. It didn't help me. I tried it as a pre-workout. I tried it as a pre-endurance run, and honestly, I think it was about $20, and I used it, a couple times. There's a ton left because you only take a tiny little bit. And I don't really think it's, for me, I would have to give it, 5 out of 10. So, helps cardiac tissue energy, right? And I'm just going to give it a 5 because for me, it didn't help much. But if you're having palpitations and nothing else has worked, maybe you want to try some D-ribose. If you live nearby, I'll give you mine. So the next thing I take now and then, and a lot of my supplements are actually amino acids that are refined in different ways. Like when you break down, a lot of supplements are just proteins broken down into their individual amino acids. So I have micronized glutamine, and this is something that is supposed to help in numerous ways. Now, way back when I was a nurse, we used to include this in the diets of patients who had soft tissue injuries, because it's helps you recover soft tissue injuries, stuff like, if you sprained ankle, tendons, muscle strains, this sort of stuff can be helpful. It's a minimal amount. A teaspoon a day. I think this whole container cost me like $30, and it's probably a 2-year supply. So it's dirt cheap. Just get micronized glutamine. Don't care about the name brand as long as it's glutamine. You don't need to worry about a name brand. It's all the same stuff. And so glutamine, to me, it has actually a number of benefits. Okay, so it helps muscle recovery or soft tissue recovery, right? It also helps, and I'm typing. Sorry about the click, but it also helps the gut lining, the lining of your intestines. It helps it stay intact. So you might hear, the integrative people, they call it leaky gut. But there's actually a medical term which is similar, gut permeability. So it helps correct gut permeability so that stuff's not leaving your intestines that shouldn't be. There's like a membranous layer, and it's supposed to decide what can cross and what doesn't. So this helps your gut, basically. It's also supposed to be heart healthy and a few other things. And so I tend to use this when I'm doing heavy powerlifting rotations. And because of the price and because of how little you need, you just need a teaspoon a day. You could go twice a day if you want. It's flavorless, dissolves in any liquid. So for me, that gets a 9 out of 10. Okay, it's really great value. So that's the glutamine. Next thing I take is BCAAs, and so I'm going to shout out to Brian Steele. I know he loves these things, but this is a pure athletic supplement, and really, the longer I've been on it, I've been using it for years, but I'm just starting to think it's never really done that much. However, I do like it as a way to mix up and get a cheap sports drink. So because it's flavored, mix it up with water, it doubles as a sports drink, and it has essential amino acids. I mean, it's really hard to tell if something is actually helping you or not sometimes, but I would say BCAAs. I mean, it's a long-standing athletic supplement. So, I mean, it's a little pricey compared to just simple protein. I mean, if you're taking protein, you probably don't need BCAAs. So I'm just going to give that a 6. Okay, so that's the BCAAs, and I probably haven't used this in a little while. At this point, just want to use it up. So now I'm going to get into stuff that I use a little more often. And so I have those down here because it's the big stuff. So I'm going to start with protein, because everyone needs protein. So I have grass-fed New Zealand whey protein. And I can't use this anywhere near the amounts I used to, because anytime I take whey protein now, cottage cheese or this, I find I get constipated. So I have maybe 1 scoop of this every 3 days, and I always blend it up with a pint of blueberries and something like almond milk or something, so I get fiber along with it. And I find I'm okay, but if I start to exceed that, I start to get constipated. So I'm just basically using this up. I probably won't buy another one. So instead, when I do need to boost the protein in my diet, I've got this vegan pea protein I got at Costco, and it's a good quality one. And the other one I really like is hemp protein, and I get this stuff with little extra hemp fiber, because hemp fiber really agrees with me. I find hemp fiber just really agrees with my gut, keeps things moving, not too much, not too little. And hemp protein is one of the very few complete plant proteins. Unless you're a child, it's considered a complete protein. You don't need to combine it with anything else, but combined with pea protein, it's extra good. So those two proteins, if you're looking for plant-based proteins for athleticism and muscle development, those are good ones. So again, so they're, muscle building is basically why I take them. So especially when I'm doing powerlifting. So I give that a 7 out of 10. Because, I could honestly do the same just by eating extra eggs. I feel like it's just as good, but sometimes you want to mix things up. So the problem with the plant protein, though, is if I had a job where I had to work in an office with other people, they wouldn't appreciate the fact I'm taking plant protein, because things get interesting in the smell department, let's say. So let's just leave that there, and we'll move on. So any questions on any of this stuff? Because now I'm getting to the stuff y'all came here to see, which is the stuff that, AFIBers are a little more concerned with and powerlifters are a little less concerned with. So stuff that I take every day is the last pile. And the first thing is Jello. And I know it's a food, but for me, it's also a supplement. Jello has something called glycine, and it's tasty. And this is no sugar Jello, and I just love it. I have it when I'm craving food at night. I'll have a couple of these, and they really hit the spot. The sugar-free comes in lime and raspberry, but it has some glycine, and glycine is an extremely important thing. Now, for those of you doing low carb, you definitely want to add gelatin. You want to make sure you're adding gelatin to your diet. Either you're doing bone broth or you're getting gelatin in some way, because one of the problems people have with keto and low carb is they can get dry eyes and dry mucous membranes, and it's probably you're not getting enough glycine. So consider adding gelatin to your diet. It's also really good for your skin and eye health and your connective tissue, gelatin. And that goes hand in hand with the next supplement. So I'm going to put gelatin, and gelatin gets a 10 out of 10. Connective tissue, mucous membranes. That gets a 10 out of 10 because it's cheap and it's tasty and you can actually eat it as a food. So I mean, what could be better? So that goes with my next thing, which is collagen. Okay, so collagen is fantastic. Now, one thing about collagen is I tell this works for me. Because when I'm not taking my collagen, like I have sort of, especially since I lost weight, I have these pronounced forehead wrinkles. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. But they're like 5 times worse if I go without collagen for 2 weeks. Like it's notice. I really notice a difference. So I take collagen. If any of you on my fitness pal, you see pretty much every morning I have my collagen creatine coffee. So I put some black coffee in the blender, nice and hot, start the blender going, and I put a scoop of this in every morning. And you want it in a hot liquid and already starting to blend when you pour it in. And that way it just mixes perfectly. It's practically flavorless in your coffee. And if you take creatine, you can put a little bit of that in at the same time. And then I add a splash of milk, and that's my collagen creatine coffee. And that's a daily thing. So the brand name on the collagen, well, again, I try to get grass-fed stuff. So I don't really care about the brand name. Collagen's collagen. If you really want to get into it, though, look for a hydrolyzed collagen, okay? And try to get something from a grass-fed source. Whenever you go to ruminant meat, it's always ideal to look for grass-fed organic. So stuff from New Zealand automatically qualifies if you can find that. But just try to find any grass-fed source. But I don't think this one is, because honestly, I bought this post-pandemic, and there were shortages of this stuff all over. So I just got what I could. And this brand is Viva Naturals, but I've used all kinds of collagen. It's all the same. It's just all the same. So I'm going to add the collagen. I think anyone over 40, you should be taking collagen. I think it's a no-brainer to be taking collagen, because collagen, I mean, your skin, the main protein in your skin is collagen. The main protein in your connective tissue is collagen. All those stuff that stiffens up or gets loose as you age, it's all collagen in there. So, skin health, connective tissue, it's great stuff. It gets a 10 out of 10. I think it's about $30. Lasts me 6 weeks, something like that. Because, okay, it's 454 grams, but you need like 5 to 10 grams a day. So it lasts quite a while. So collagen for sure. Okay. The next thing I take, not every day, but I like a green drink. Okay. So I get this stuff. It's cheap. And sometimes I don't feel I get quite enough micronutrients, and I feel like this helps, although I can't really say it does. But basically, it has spirulina, spinach, barley grass, and others. Like spirulina is the main one I look for in a green drink, and I buy this All Max Cyto Greens mostly because it's cheap and it tastes good and it has the spirulina. And usually there's spirulina and there's other stuff, but the green drink is great because I feel like it gives you some extra micronutrients. The other thing is, if you have a green drink first thing in the morning, it puts you in a healthy frame of mind the rest of the day. If you just start off, you wake up, go have a green drink. I bet you eat better all day long after that. It just puts you in a healthy state of mind the rest of the day. So I'm just gonna put green drinks here, okay? And micronutrients, and I'm gonna give that 8 out of 10 because now there's a lot of really expensive brands, and you can get into it. Like there's this Athletic Green ones that's all over YouTube. It's super expensive, like $100 a month. You can go down that road, but for me, it hits a spot. It tastes nice. It's inexpensive, has a spirulina, and I'm happy with that. And so this brand is All Max Cyto Greens, and I get it at Walmart. This tub was $30 Canadian, so probably $20 in the US, and it lasts me quite a while because I only have the one scoop a day. So there's 30 servings. Okay, I have it 3-4 times a week, so it lasts me quite a while. Okay. The first vitamin, Corey, if you're out there. You asked me about my vitamins. So the first vitamin, here we go. Vitamin D. So if you're going to take vitamin D, if you're getting vitamin D in a tablet, it's not doing a damn thing for you. Okay? There are studies about this. If you're low on vitamin D, if you're not taking liquid vitamin D, you're basically on a placebo. And I know sometimes they'll combine D3 with calcium in a powder. If it's in a powder, I promise you it's just going right through you. If you were someone, and that's a big if, who can actually raise yourself out of vitamin D deficiency to normal with a supplement, it's got to be the liquid. So I like the D drops brand because you need vitamin D as a fat soluble vitamin. So that's part of the problem with the powdered stuff. It's not packed with fat. It's a fat soluble vitamin. So they usually put this stuff either with MCT oil, which is coconut oil, usually just coconut oil, or lanolin, because they actually get it from sheep, so it comes in lanolin already. So that's one way I get vitamin D, but I actually haven't used this in quite some time, and the reason is because there's a superior way to get vitamin D even better than this, and that's from the sun. And since it's winter, I'm not getting it there, but I do use the tanning booth. So I use a tanning booth every other day. The tanning booth actually, one of the upsides, there's a lot of people who think there's downsides to the tanning booth, but one of the upsides nobody can argue with is it gives you a big shot. It gets your skin producing vitamin D for like a whole day after, and that's the best source of vitamin D is your own skin. So if you're tanning, you probably don't need a vitamin D supplement. Now, a friend of mine, another doctor, pointed out that there is a correlation between taking too much vitamin D and AFib. So you don't want to go overboard on vitamin D. Okay, you want to just have the right amount. So creatine. So I bought this creatine because after wave 3 of the pandemic, I couldn't buy normal, cheap, old creatine anywhere in Canada. It was gone. So I ended up getting this stuff, which we used to call Crealkaline, but it's sort of a creatine hydrochloride. But anyway, if you can just get plain old creatine monohydrate, it's cheap as chips. It is one of the supplements that has just so much evidence behind it that anyone who does any athletic stuff at all, it's a no-brainer to be on it. It's just, and it's not a banned substance. So in sports, it's legal to take. So it's one of the few legal things you can take that actually has a demonstrable performance boost. So I'm using this up, and it's just a tiniest little amount. This thing's lasted me quite a while. But just a standard creatine monohydrate. It's also supposedly good for your heart health. When you first go on creatine, though, it can cause you to retain a little bit of water for the first few days, and then it goes away. So let me catch up my sheet here. So I've got the collagen, I've got the green jinx, I've got the protein, the creatine. I think I'm pretty caught up. So it's just basically the creatine and athletics and heart health. And I'm giving that a 9 because there's so much evidence behind it. Now, it tastes like crap. This particular type tastes like crap. But the plain old creatine monohydrate's flavorless, and I would blend that up in the same coffee as my glutamine. That's the one I missed on the sheet here. I would blend that up in the same coffee as my glutamine and gut health and connective tissue health. And it would be flavorless. All I would taste is the coffee. So, okay. Oh, I have glutamine up there. Okay. I'm losing track here. There's too many. The next thing I take every day is melatonin. And because I'm on a beta blocker, and there's some evidence that when you go on a beta blocker, your body produces a little less melatonin, which might explain why beta blockers leave you tired all the time, yet you have a hard time getting to sleep. So I supplement with melatonin every single night, and it's pretty harmless, and it does help me sleep. So melatonin as a sleep aid, and because I'm on beta blockers, I take it. It's really cheap, 10 out of 10. Giving the melatonin a big thumbs up. Okay. Next thing, it's not really a supplement, but it is. Salt. Do you consider salt a supplement? Well, if you do endurance sports, definitely. You need to supplement with salt. So I like to mix up my salts. I have my table salts, and that has iodine, but I also have my Himalayan pink salt, and I try to use this. I actually prefer the flavor of Himalayan pink salt. So I use Himalayan pink salt. It's also cheap. It's a no-brainer. I'm not going to list it as a supplement, but it does have some micronutrients that are really the only time you're going to get them is a Himalayan pink salt. And if you're into cooking, it's a nice change of the flavor profile. Like I find the table salt rather a harshness to the salty flavor, where the Himalayan pink salt has a really nice, more like a sea salt kind of flavor. So, yeah, Gail, I would say you definitely get your grandma on the collagen. Really, it's almost a no-brainer to be on collagen if you're over 40. So maybe that'll drive the price up. Everyone starts buying it. I don't know. So just give me one moment here. Make sure everything's still going good. You got to be your own producer when you're live and doing a live stream. Okay. The next is carnitine. Carnitine is something because I'm trying to do a weight cut right now, and carnitine is supposed to help you cut weight. Carnitine helps basically transport things in and out of the cells. Okay, especially fatty acids. So the thought is that it helps speed up fat metabolism. So I'm giving it a go. I can't really say if it's helpful or not. So I don't really know what to rate it, but I'm taking carnitine, for fat metabolism, and I don't know what to rate it, so I just put a question mark there for now. So I don't really know how I would be able to tell if it's working or not, because I don't know. But I'm going to use up the bottle because I have it anyway. Okay, so now the rest of this stuff is I take specifically because I have AFib, and in the past I've had problems with palpitations. So I'm going to go into two. You probably know about all of these except one, but I did my video that I think it's at 25 or 30,000 views about how I fix my ectopic beats. They're still fixed, by the way, and it's these two here. So L-arginine and taurine, and I just buy the cheapest brand, whatever's the cheapest one on Amazon. So I take 1,000 milligrams of each 3 times a day, evenly spaced apart, and my ectopic beats are a distant memory as long as I do that. And about once every 2 weeks, I just go off them for a day or two because I'm sometimes worried these things will build up in my system because I take them 3 times a day, and I'll go off them for a day or two, and that's been okay. But L-arginine and taurine, I mean, for me, these get a 12 out of 10. They get a 12 out of 10 for ectopic beats. That's why I take them. 12 out of 10. For me, they've changed my life. To me, they're miracles. And I'm so glad I found that little study about that because it's really paid off for me. Okay, now magnesium. Now, I used to only buy magnesium taurate. But now, because I'm on the taurine, I'm getting the taurine. So, hold on, we got a question. Can you explain ectopic beats? Yeah, so I did a whole video about it, but PVCs, PACs, you get the skip beats that they were quite painful for me. I really spent a long time just trying to get rid of these, and that's what did it for me. So hope that answers your question well. So so now I don't look for any specific magnesium. There's all this magnesium bonds with a lot of other elements. So you'll see people saying, well, this type of magnesium is best for sleep. This type of magnesium is best for, your mental sharpness or whatever. I just want some magnesium in my body because I was once low on magnesium and spent a week in the cardiac care ward. So I don't care what it's paired with. I just want some magnesium. And again, after the third wave, there was a big shortage of magnesium. So I just bought what I could. And at the time it was magnesium malate, but I would take any type of magnesium I could get. as long as it's not crazy expensive, because I don't care what it's paired with. I just need something my body will break down and make magnesium available for my heart, for my AFib. So that's what I'm on now. And I used to take magnesium taurate. So if you're not using taurine, maybe you want to look for magnesium taurate. And there's a lot of talk about this new magnesium threonate being the new miracle kid on the blood. Do you think people confuse ectopic beats with AFib? I think that happens sometimes. And but the thing with ectopic beats is you just get a couple, they're gone. AFib tends to persist and last for a while. So I think people might dismiss AFib as having ectopic beats if they don't look deeply. I think that could happen. So the last supplement I take for my heart might surprise people that take it for my heart. And I found a study when I was looking to cure my ectopic beats that they had 25 people who were going for heart surgery, or 50 people. So they gave 25 of them every day for 2 weeks before heart surgery 1,000 milligrams of slow release vitamin C. The other 25 they didn't. And after heart surgery, because one of the side effects is people go for heart surgery and then afterwards they get ectopic beats they never had before. So the people who had the vitamin C had a lot less ectopic beats after as a side effect from surgery. So I thought, well, maybe it helps with ectopic beats, but it also helps with, vitamin C is just good for a lot of things, and it's cheap, it's safe, it's good for, immune system, a million things. So I got to add my magnesium to the list here. It's good for a million things. So why not? Why not? What's the harm? So I feel like it might help my ectopic beats, but between taking the vitamin C, the magnesium, and taurine, I have no ectopic beats. So why? I don't want to mess with it. So I keep taking those three things, right? So I take vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams, slow release, right? And I take it for my ectopic beats and other reasons, right? Because vitamin C is good for a lot of stuff, and it's dirt cheap. I mean, this whole thing of vitamin C is like $14 it cost me. I got 150 days for like $15. 150 days of vitamin C. And again, I don't really care about the name brand. I mean, at the end of the day, vitamin C, it's not vitamin C you need, actually. Vitamin C is an essential nutrient because essential vitamin is a vitamin your body cannot produce on its own. Whoops, lost my headset. So that's why they call it essential vitamin. Your body can't produce it on its own. Okay? So vitamin C is one of those, and it's not vitamin C you need. It's actually ascorbic acid. And vitamin C is one type of ascorbic acid. So most other mammals produce ascorbic acid. And so we all know that vitamin C deficiency is called scurvy. And we've heard stories of sailors with scurvy. But sailors actually weren't getting scurvy until they ran out of fresh meat. And then they went to the meat that was stored in the barrels in different ways and dehydrated, because the ascorbic acid is removed from the meat when the meat is preserved using these old methods. And so when they started getting into that for a few weeks, they would start to get scurvy. As long as they had fresh meat, they wouldn't get scurvy. And then they discovered by giving them lime juice that they wouldn't get scurvy. And that was actually, there's a really long and wonderful story about how that became part of the medical scientific method, was the lime juice discovery, and how they puzzled that out to cure sailors to prevent scurvy in sailors. Really interesting. But vitamin C has been with us hundreds of years. So I would say vitamin C is a no-brainer, and it's a 10 out of 10. Oh, even Siri is chiming in about vitamin C. So everyone has a good opinion of vitamin C. Okay, my friends. So there's a huge pile of supplements on my desk. I think I've gone through them all. And as you can see, a lot of my supplements I don't take every single day. They're sort of specific. So if I'm going into certain modes of training, so if I'm doing a cardio heavy training block of a month, I'll lay off the protein a bit. I'm looking more towards the glutamine, maybe a little extra collagen, and the creatine all the time. If I'm going into a strength block, then I'm going to ramp up the protein some. So a lot of my supplements, they come and go based on my training, but the basic stuff for my heart health is the daily stuff. So those are my supplements. So I hope everyone now knows the mystery of Big Northern Bear supplements and what we take. No, well, K2 is K2. Another name is potassium. So I discussed potassium. I don't take K2 because it's basically you're taking potassium, and I've had a problem with too much potassium. Too much potassium can be lethal, and I've twice had my cardiologist call me up in a panic saying your blood test came back, your potassium's dangerously high. Take that powdery stuff right away. And so I'm really paranoid about too much potassium. Now, I rectified that, I believe, by switching to a whole foods, mostly whole foods diet. I still probably 5% of what I eat is probably processed. Unless you count yogurt, then it's 10%. But I feel like the whole foods diet, just real natural food, is your best supplement. It fills in all the holes you're worried about. Switch to real food. Get out of the process. Be like the sailors. When the sailors switched to processed food, they got scurvy. When they had fresh rations, no scurvy. When they're eating fresh, whole food, no scurvy. So think of it that way. Okay? We learned all we needed to learn about that 400 or 500 years ago. So think about those sailors. Whole food diet. They stress again and again. Whole food diet. Getting rid of the processed food. Getting it out of your life. Just put it in minimal amounts. I'm not saying you have to give every processed thing up forever. I mean, me and my family were out tonight, and time got away from us. We had to get home. I had a live stream. We ended up stopping for a traditional takeaway dinner. I was at Wendy's. I had a chili and a chicken burger. I remember eating a chicken burger tonight, thinking, "Wow, it doesn't taste like I remember it tastes," because I haven't had one in so long. So I'm not religious about it, but in general, it's whole food is just, should be 95% of your diet should just be foods that don't have a nutrition label. Just real food. Shop around the outside edge of your grocery store, not the stuff in the middle. All the good stuff is on the outside edge. You got your meat, whole meat, real meat. You got dairy, real vegetables, real fruits and berries. I eat a ton of those. That's my antioxidant supplements, is a ton of blueberries. 2 pints a day. Anyone who's on my Fitness Pal with me, 2 pints a day of blueberries. You can find me on my Fitness Pal, by the way, Big Northern Bear YouTube on my Fitness Pal. Anyone who wants to add me there, I will accept. We can join on. So, hey, how what? Hey, Joe Santaguida. How what? What's the rest of the question? Happy to answer it. So, I'm also, next weekend, people have been asking about when we're going to have the meet and greet. Next weekend, I'm going to schedule a couple next weekend. So there's going to be some emails going out to the mailing list this week for you to be able to sign up. I think I'm just going to have like 3 slots, and you can just sign up for the one you can make of those 3 slots. So I just have to figure out a sign up process. And you'll have to create a 100% free account if you want to meet in the studio. You need an account with EVMux, which is my virtual studio that I'm broadcasting from now. So there's a link in my descriptions. I'll make sure I add it to this video. But if you go to any video down at the bottom, I have a link where I'm an affiliate to EVMux. So if someone actually buys EVMux, they support me. But EVMux as a platform is free. You could live stream tomorrow on EVMux for free. You'll just have a watermark saying EVMux. I don't have the watermark. I have to pay EVMux. So. That's that's the start of spring break, but I'm too old for spring break. I got to work anyway. But that'll just be the first one. So I'm going to do another one probably. I'm going away at the end of the March, but when I get back, I'm going to do another one in April. So, there's never going to be a time that works 100% for everyone, but I'm going to keep them going. I think I'm going to just try to keep them going monthly. So the people on my email and this, we can just check in. And it might not always be in my studio. I might decide to switch to another platform if it's just easier to manage. But for now, it's going to be in the studio. So So don't worry, Gail. Make sure we accommodate you. Joe, I don't know what to tell you, man. Just keep saying how back, howdy. So that's coming up for the channel. I have a video scheduled. I already put it together, and it goes out. It's scheduled, so it's gonna automatically appear in your feeds Tuesday night. It's my next video. My poop video has become, in the first 3 days, the biggest video I've ever had based on the first 3 days. I'm really happy about it. I'm really sad the audio quality wasn't good. I just couldn't rescue the audio quality, so it's uneven. But I found the problem in the software for this microphone. I went in deep and I found what I was doing wrong, and it turned out I was just using this little button wrong. So hopefully my voice is more clear tonight than in the last 2 live streams, because I just had to use that little button wrong. Can you imagine that? So anyway, guys, it's been a long week, and I appreciate that you've all joined me here on a Sunday night. And sorry I couldn't broadcast Fridays. Friday is my actual regular live stream night. I try to broadcast Friday nights because I have to schedule my life outside of YouTube. So Friday nights is kind of the nights I try to keep reserved. But this Friday I had no internet, and it was quite painful. So yeah, so I appreciate you all joining me. I got my day oneer, and it's been a good time. I'm glad I now have a video that when someone asks what I supplement, what I use, I can just point them at this video. So I'll leave this video up, and they can just watch it and they can see all my supplements. It's been fun. I really enjoy the live streams, and I've been just wanting to do a video about my supplements, so it all came together. And I really appreciate everyone who joined in the chat, even the people who are quiet and just watching. Thanks for coming on board. I see there's a few people out there, and I'm just going to wish you all a great week and a good evening. I'm going to sign off with a bit of music here, and I'll throw the show trailer up maybe one more time on the way out. And thanks again, everybody. I wish you all the best and have a great week.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.